It's finally December again, everyone's favorite month, right? Drinking hot chocolate, getting presents, seeing comfy snow, catchy Christmas music and all that. It's the perfect time to talk about all the snowy fields the Xenoblade franchise has to offer, since all of them have one, except for Xenoblade X. No Sylvalum has no snow, it's white sand. So while the area looks like it's snowy, it's not, even if it's also really cold there. Also, I'm mostly gonna judge them by their level design and vibes, not by their story related things that happen in them. Let's start. If I had to use two words to describe Valak Mountain, it would be Ice Slide. Do I even have to say more? Actually, I would use the words huge and desolate, something I'm way too familiar with. But in a video game, both of those words together will ring the alarm clocks in your brain and make you think, oh no, this won't be fun to go through. Is it fun here? Kinda. Also, I captured the footage from the Wii version because that's how I experienced it the first time I played it. And my Wii is turning 18 years old this month, so gotta give it something fun to do, even if it gets really loud nowadays. I hope it will still survive another 18 years. Xenoblade 1's locations sometimes were a bit too big for their own good and rough around the edges, but that's what made the game feel so special, and Valak Mountain is that at its peak. Many paths that kinda don't lead to anywhere except for looking into the blue abyss or seeing the sealed tower in the distance, which looks amazing. I love it in games when you see your goal from so far away and creep closer and closer till you reach it, especially when it's just this big. The game really knows how to make you feel small, something I can relate to as a short person. Aside from that, it's snow, and snow, and snow, lots of snow even. And to be honest, I missed this kind of ambition to a degree. With the exception of Xenoblade X, 2 and 3 kinda got more and more compact in a good way since Monolith Soft really learned how to avoid too much dead space, but it leaves me longing for something like this again too. But talking about that would derail the whole video, so I will leave that for another day. Valak Mountain also attempts to pull a subtle marsh on you. At daytime it's exactly how you would expect a snowy mountain to look like, but then nighttime hits and suddenly the crystals light up with their piss yellow color and make you remember the words from your parents that you should never eat yellow snow, or snow in general I guess. It gives the whole place a way warmer feeling, even if it still would be cold as hell if I had to walk here myself, unless I would buy a nice comfy coat before going here. Back to Ice Slide Storm, something I also kinda miss from the other games. Sure, you got a few sections where you go through fast water in Xenoblade 2 and have tiny ice slides, but it's not the same. 3 has cool zip and ether lines at least. The mess up physics are just funny here, even if they can be frustrating when you miss the jump and have to teleport back and walk over there again, or get stuck on the slide or just fly way too far. Yay. Another thing people hated about this area was trying to get the Ice Cabbage for the Colony 6 side quest. But I mean, come on, the Ice Cabbage has a drop rate of 6% according to the wiki. It may not feel like 6%, but 6% is super duper high in comparison to some of the grinds I had to go through in my life. If you ever played Ragnarok Online, you may be able to relate because that game has cards. Basically every enemy has a 0.01% chance to drop their card, like the Pouring card gives you +2 luck. And I had a couple of those cards. I just mindlessly killed thousands of enemies to get the card, maybe even millions. I would do it all over again, so I can only laugh at people that value their precious time, so even a 6% chance looks low. I love its day theme because it makes a pleb like me think I'm invited into some big castle like the Neuschwanstein castle, which I have visited as a kiddo before. Obviously it feels different as a tourist, am I still a tourist even if I visit things in my own country, but this song makes you feel like you're there to go watch rich people do rich people things like dance in fancy dresses. But then the night theme hits you and there's just something special about its night theme, as if you're wandering the empty streets of the old town you lived in, which has seen better days. Imagining you and your old friends walking down by the kiosk or ice cream place, while now they have been shut down for a while already, just trash flying past its windows. Longing for the better days you may have experienced back then, while still remaining a bit hopeful that things can turn around for the better. It's not the kind of pure sadness that makes you want to cry, but instead it's the melancholic feeling that makes you wonder, was it really all that better in the past? Did I do all of the right choices in my life? If only I could turn back time, but maybe then I would still do it the same way again. A perfect track to think about life with. I can totally understand why people would not think this is a great designed area and kinda unfun to go through, but I love it for its vast snowy fields and paths. I just personally love it. It makes you feel lost and just kinda immersed into the place, just soaking in the atmosphere where it feels like if they made it more compact, it wouldn't have had the same impact. Sometimes worse level design is actually better level design. It also has a geyser that can shoot you up high. Do I have to say more? Some of the animals at night even have little lights on top of their heads to make it easier for them to see through the heavy snowstorms that can happen here, like the crabs or the little elephants. Too bad they didn't also give some of those to the birds because, well, it doesn't seem like they can handle it well. Haters would say that this bird is just bugging out with its AI. True fans like me know that Monolith Soft programmed them this way to fly against rocks and stuff since they can't see well with all of the heavy snow going on. Trust me, that's really the reason. All in all, a perfect area for people who love snowy areas in video games. It also has a tiny lava cave, but this is a video about snow. I just wanted to mention it though. You arrive in Tantal with one of my favorite cutscenes here. Just look at how cute Nia hugs Pyro to stay warm. Makes you wish you would be Nia since Pyro must be really hot, in multiple ways. Luckily not hot enough to melt the snow, since snow is cool and I wish I still had snow where I live. Nowadays every time there's snow it turns into the muddy ugly kind of snow after a day. Time to move to Alaska. In comparison to Valak Mountain, Tantal is not as confusing and big. There's not that many branching paths, and even when there are some, they don't lead to another big area, so you mostly feel as if you're in an open corridor, enjoying the various sights such as the ruins around and being able to look down onto the main open area. The special thing about Tantal is that it's the only snow area that also has a town in it, even if it may be a really depressing town built on lies. Lying is bad, you shouldn't do it. I'm not your parent though, so I can't scold you if you do. Not like it's the fault of the people living here anyways, but for the king who keeps those lies up. Living in this dumb palace, and I have to be honest, I never quite understood sitting on a throne as a king. Maybe it's because I never was a king, but sitting on a throne for hours and doing nothing really just seems boring to me. Makes you feel big and important though, so that's cool I guess. The palace has a bit more to offer than just a throne room, like a prison. Those are fun to visit. I've been to one for way too many times in my life so far. There's even little Xion living here, a cute Xenosaga reference if we were lucky enough to get Cosmos. And a nice view, because who would wanna live in a castle or palace without it? Even though the security on the railing is a bit weak. They need to fix this before someone falls off, like me. I think people are smart enough not to lean against this part, but unless they slip on the icy floor and crash down like in some old cartoon, then they don't need to fix that. But they should fix it. They should hire me. When it comes to the town itself, it's not the kind of town that makes you think, wow, I wanna live here, but it's still decent enough to make you go around it and jump up onto the roofs, till you get to this field skill and probably say hell no, I don't wanna go into the menu and change stuff around till I get a whole 7 Earth Mastery. Especially since you can't go into the menu on a ladder, so you first have to get off the ladder and then change and then get back up the ladder, and I didn't want to do that. So instead, you just go to the local hot springs. It's not really a hot spring, but it's hot water and you can bath in it, so it counts. Those are more fun anyways and not as illegal as going onto roofs. Or to the inn, which features one of the best side quests in the game. Also lots of stores around, so while it's not on the top of my list of places to visit, I wouldn't complain too much if I somehow ended up here. Actually, I would. Also, it has a snowman. Look, that alone makes it the best possible snow location in the Xenoblade games. I wish I could build him a friend, or multiple friends even. He doesn't even have a smile on his face though, because he's so alone, since he doesn't even have a mouth to begin with. What happens if he tries to scream without a mouth? So to get to the really big free part of Tantal, you gotta follow the path that leads down, or you can just go back to the start of the area and jump onto the little hole and also dive deep into it to get to a secret area, which is a bit scary. I don't know what scares me more, those videos where people climb giant buildings and jump between them, or those videos where people dive under the ice on a sea. I wouldn't do either. I also always wondered why there's so many insects here, like flying bugs or the spiders. Don't they normally hate areas that are cold? They're supposed to hibernate and sleep, not just crawl and fly around here. Maybe their big size helps with staying warm. I don't know. It's a fantasy world after all. In my perfect fantasy world, big insects like this would not exist. Sadly, this is not a perfect world. Unless you like big insects. After going past these ruins and having fun with this little ice slide, you arrive at the bottom of it, and there's not really that much more here. It's a big circle full of snow basically, with some rock formations here and there, but overall it lacks that feeling of being lost that Valak Mountain gives you, despite the harsh weather. The overall place doesn't feel harsh at all. So it's comfy for a nice walk if you ignore all the enemies, but it's missing that special something like a special event maybe. Well, I got the perfect thing to sell to you then. There's this somewhat random event where tons of big krakens appear. I remember randomly teleporting here for a side quest once and suddenly it looked like this. Something out of a Lovecraft novel. Took me like almost 10 minutes to make it happen since you have to teleport to another titan, teleport back here, teleport away, teleport here again. People who don't really do side quests maybe have never seen this. In a way, it makes me kinda wish this was the default setting for Tantal. Seeing Fishfly is fine and all, but suddenly seeing Cthulhu-like monsters swarming around in the air or clinging onto walls, that's just pretty damn cool and not something you would really expect. I kinda wish the games had more like this, but with an even lower chance of happening, like 0.01% maybe. We gotta bring back gaming myths that make you think people are bullshitting even though they're telling the truth. It's not a bad place, but it's not exactly making you think it's the best thing ever either. It's a linear path down and then it turns into a big circle that has a bunch of nothing really that leads into another linear straight path that you need to go through. I still love the overall aesthetic of it and especially the theme of it. Unlike the somber melodies of Valak Mountain, it has the kind of track that pushes you forward, giving you energy instead of feeling like it wants to suck the energy out of you. Shouldn't a track this fire actually melt the snow away? Haha. Oh, and it's actually inside of a giant turtle. That actually puts it at the top of snow areas, right? If you like turtles a lot, who doesn't?
Good. Jonathan just got an awesome face paint job. What do you think?
I like turtles.
Even though they can be pretty scary. Ever seen one of those snap? They could easily bite off your fingers or other body parts. Getting eaten alive by a turtle probably sucks, but that goes for most things. I don't want to get eaten, maybe after I die though, because why should I care at that point? You know, despite its name, it's not quite the peak. It sadly just feels so generic, as if this could be the snow area of any other JRPG and not out of Xenoblade. Nothing here feels special, and I still remember on my first playthrough, I just kinda went through this part of the game. Totally not just because I wanted to see Nia, but there is no sense of discovery here. Sure, the view is kinda okay if you look down, but that's all it offers, and some cute big branches you can walk on. It has snow, snowy enemies, and the whole facility story part with Y, but you don't even get to go inside of it really. You can enter it and walk through a short corridor, but that's it. They could have fleshed this out a bit more, but I didn't really insert the sealed tower for this either, so I will let it slide. The later pacing of Xenoblade 3 really brought down this place because it feels it was designed to just lead to the cool place, the Cloud Keep, instead of feeling it was designed to be an integral part of the overall place itself. How could we design the place that leads up to the Cloud Keep because it's in the air? Yeah, a snowy area because up means cold and cold means snow. I mean, even the whole top of the Great Sword is cooler than this actually, because you're on top of a giant sword. You can't hate on that, even if it's a really short section and also has no greater meaning in the world except for the super boss, since otherwise there's not really too much to do here. You have a decent view from here though. It has a bit of snow, so it does count as a snow area in my book. Then there's the Cloud Keep, and while it's really neat, it also doesn't exactly make you go wow, except for story reasons. If you want to be a little hater, you can say just a bunch of pretty stairs with the best view in the whole game towards the dead Uriah Titan, or towards Captocorn Peak, which just shows you how tiny it is. You have it fully in view almost, except for the part where you can go to Colony Zero, which is gone since I did the side quest, where the view isn't as great. But fear not, you might think I forgot the best thing about this place. This big jump that gets you back to the start of the game. One day I saw a tweet about it and was like, damn, I didn't notice that one myself when I was playing the game for the first time. Even if it is kinda obvious now in retrospective, having an item just being in the air and tons of corpses laying around for you to check out the surroundings. They try to make you think there's something suspicious and then you miss it anyways. Probably. Maybe you actually found out you can do this jump when you played it without knowing this. I wish I could say more here, but I can't. The day and night themes are okay, but again, they don't have their own feeling to them. You could put them into any other JRPG and just go, yeah, that's an okay song. Also, I hate how you enter the zone. You walk into a loading screen where there is no snow at all in front of you, and when the loading finishes, suddenly you're in a snowy area. How does that work? Was it meant to be a surprise or did they just not care at all? Even on the Wii you could see you entering a snowy area next, but here, nope. Luckily, we have an actual peak though if we include Future Redeem with one of the best locations in any Xenoblade game, the Black Mountains. It combines Valak Mountain, Tantal and Prison Island, and it feels the developers were like, hey, We kinda didn't do a good job of making Captocorn Peak feel like an actual climb and a worthwhile area to go through to get to everyone's favorite queen, Nia. Let's redeem ourselves, and that's exactly what they did. Maybe that was the plan from the start though, to make you appreciate this place even more, giving you a lackluster snow area in the base game without including something from Valak Mountain and Tantal, just so they could pull this out of their pockets, with Prison Island even. Just look at that view of the Oriya Titan trying to eat you, a way better view than what we got in Captocorn Peak, with even more Dane making an appearance. Seeing these huge titans still intact and feeling so close, yet so distant, just feels amazing, and it doesn't even matter from where you look, you can see something cool from basically anywhere here. While it's a fairly linear path still, there's a few sections where you can actually go and pick your own path. Don't want to use a dumb ether line since it pollutes the environment, just do a fun little jumpin' one. It has the complete opposite problem of Captocorn. I want to say more about it, but I can't, because it's just that good, instead of being so lame that I can't say more about it. You have the ruins of Tantal, the pissy crystals from Valak Mountain, and also some of those high-end tier ruins that you could find on there. And suddenly you are in Prison Island, making you relive one of the hypest moments in Xenoblade 1 when you arrive there and shit goes down, or while Origin is just right above you. And that sweet day theme just pushing you onwards with some somber notes mixed in here and there too, to really make you think this is it, the last place you will visit really before it all ends. But then you enter the Prison Island part of it and hear this, and holy shit, it may be one of the best musical pieces of all time, not just in Xenoblade. Hearing this on the very last stretch of the game is just damn, goosebumps. There's nothing bad I can say about this place. It's level design perfection and a worthy contender for one of the best locations in any Xenoblade, not just snow related, or video games too. It's like the best things from Tantal, mixed with the best things from Valak Mountain, mixed with Prison Island in there too, and just being so compact while still feeling so huge because of the background that it's unbelievable. Just look at it when you go up the ether line. Sometimes you see people who blame the Switch for being a weak console, and that's the reason why current Pokemon looks the way it does, but dude, this is also on a Switch. And this isn't some needless hate on Game Freak, because I'm sure if they also got the time Monolith Soft gets, they wouldn't have those kind of problems. Probably. I mean, Monolith Soft is just on another level anyways. So base Xenoblade 3 is the only one that has a pretty disappointing snow area. I mean, it's probably the one that's most similar to real life when you go hiking on some fairly decently high mountain, if we ignore the big branches. Even if trees in real life can also get really big, maybe Xenoblade 4 can make up for it, even if I would wish we get completely new places with it, since I'm personally a bit fatigued on it by now. I don't need another snow area, just how I don't need another big grassy field as the first big section of the game, or another Southern Marsh kind of section, and so on, but that's not the topic of the video, so... With that said, I hope you enjoyed the video and will have a good day, a good night, or whatever fits your time zone. And hopefully you will have a Merry Christmas and a December full of joy and wonders and great presents that you wished for. So you better don't be naughty. Maybe even Nia Santa herself will visit you, you know? Isn't it kinda what we all wish and hope for? Boys and girls alike are into her. Have you ever seen a Nia hater? Nope, it's impossible to hate her. Bye bye.